Going on YouTube Metal Complex here, and today we are finally going to be doing the review on this little guy here. This is the Ozark Trail rail knife. So this has been shown on a couple of videos on my channel, and I haven't done a review on it yet, and there's a reason for that, and I'm going to go over it today. Let's go ahead and do the size comparison here with the Mannix. As you can see, this is a pretty small knife. The Mannix is about 8 inches overall. So this puts this one, looks to be under 7 inches. The blade looks to be about 2.75 inches. So, you know, this is a small everyday carry knife. So here's the thing. Everybody's heard me talk that's been a part of this channel. I think that having a folding knife in your pocket is a good thing for anybody. I think there are, no matter where you work, no matter who you are, as long as it's legal, it's a good idea to carry a folding knife. They are tools that are appropriate for a multitude of tasks. They make everything so much easier. And you know, before I started carrying a folding knife regularly, which was about 10 years ago, once I started carrying one, as most of you know, you find so many situations throughout the day where you're like, oh, it's so convenient to have this little cutting tool. It just makes your day that much easier, so you don't have to go look for scissors or a box cutter or whatever it is. But I wanted to use that to lead into why I don't like this and why this knife frustrates me so much. It's part of the reason that I haven't done a review on it. The draw to Ozark Trail knives, everybody's aware of them now. You know, the Ozark Trail flipper knife, I think, is the knife that made that group popular, and I don't like that knife either. The draw to them is that they're like $3 to $4, that's impressive. A $3 to $4 folding knife is impressive. This one was no different. I don't think this is available for retail anymore. But this one makes me upset. And I think this one went completely under the radar, but they are so close to a good design here. And that's why it bothers me. The blade, I have no issues with whatsoever, other than they should have some jimping back here. This is a classic drop point blade. For somebody who is new to folding knives, this is the blade style I always recommend. It is extremely utilitarian, has enough cutting belly. It's got a great tip, and just the overall design of it is excellent. It's probably the most well-rounded or universally accepted blade shape out there. I really like the position of the thumb studs, especially in relation to the handle here. That choil cutout there allows you great access on this one to get under that thumb stud, despite this being an incredibly cheap design with the most budget materials on the planet. You know, again, on a super inexpensive knife, we're not going to be judging the blade steel. You know, the Spyderco Mannix 2 has S30V, which is a great premium blade steel, but this is a $130 variant of the Mannix. So if we're talking about this one here, we're judging it on the design. And so they've got the blade. What they also got right was the handle design, and not by width. That actually bothers me, but this way. Not only is the knife for what it's classified as, a light carry EDC, thin profile this way, nothing really hanging off of it to catch anything. You've got access to the thumb stud, and then your hands, even despite this being a smaller knife, you actually are able to get a full purchase on it. There's a thumb ramp here. You know, where your fingers would fall naturally, this is all good. Where they messed up was how they did the handle, how they did this part of it. You know, it is an open body design too, by the way. That's another thing that I like. And it's a liner lock, which is to be expected on an inexpensive knife. But so ideally, if they had just made a few tweaks on this, this would be the budget knife that I recommended to everybody who can't, you know, because if you can't afford a nice knife, I still recommend that people carry a knife, even if if you can't even afford a $10 knife. Let's say you got $5 to spend on a knife. If this was designed properly, I could actually recommend it to people. But as of right now, the least expensive knife that I would actually recommend to somebody is about $15 to $20. But if this was designed properly, I could recommend this knife, and people who couldn't afford more than a $5 knife would actually have something to carry, which would be great. And again, guys, this is just my opinion. You can completely disagree with me. It's not going to bother me at all. In fact, I welcome comments and opinions, even if they're different than mine. So I'm kind of ranting here, but I know that Ozark Trails has access to G10 or imitation G10 because they've got it on their flipper knife, and they've even got some scalloping and stuff in there. So changes I would make to this knife is, number one, just some jimping up here. I know they can do that too because, again, it's on the Ozark Trail flipper knife. Number two, this material, this imitation carbon fiber looking crap that they've got in here, this needs to be a little thinner. And I don't know what they're doing with these. I guess this is the part of the rail system. I don't know if it's designed to be attached to something. That's ridiculous. Me personally, I don't have any use for any system like that. So I would prefer the scales cover the liners completely and are thinned down a little bit. And if you could make them out of G10 or that imitation G10 that you've got, or even, the FRN or the nylon handles, that's fine. Make it a little bit thinner. Keep this open body design, keep the liners, and then, drill another position for the pocket clip, or, especially if it was 4-way. And I understand that probably costs more money to do because they're making these on an assembly line, I'm sure, just trying to get as many of them out there as possible. But you make the position of the pocket clip tip up or tip down, left to right hand carry, or at least give a left hand carry position, since this is right hand only. And it doesn't need to be deep carry. This does not need to be sticking out that wide. For as small a knife as it is, it actually is wider, including the pocket clip, than my Mannix. So, it's just unnecessary. And it also makes it difficult to get to that pivot because this is not perfectly lined up with the pivot. So if you get a tool in there, you're going to catch that pocket clip and it's just going to be a mess. But the knife is running on nylon washers and is actually pretty smooth. It's actually pretty easy to deploy. You can even do it in reverse. This is actually a good design. They just didn't, it was poorly executed. And it bothers me so much because this exact knife, with just a few tweaks, you're just going to have to imagine with me, you got a G10 or imitation G10 scale covering that entire handle, or the liner, thin down pocket clip, thin down materials here, and just some other places for the pocket clip, and you have an excellent $3 to $4 knife, despite it not being premium materials. There is no lock rock on this. There's a little bit of side-to-side blade play, but the big thing to me is lock rock, and there isn't on this. And it's locking up at, it looks normal for a budget knife. It's locking up at like 80%, but that's fine. But man, they have those changes. They make those changes there, and it's not going to be the most. That's the problem. Is the people that are shopping in this price range they don't actually. A lot of people don't know what a good design looks like, so they're just buying whatever's aesthetically pleasing to them. So maybe the drawback to that is that it makes it more boring. But G10 comes in a multitude of colors and patterns and texturing and stuff like that. And, they've got this black blade, which seems to be desirable to people shopping in this price range, even if this isn't an actual DLC, it's just paint. But they could still sell it. It would still be appealing, but it would actually be functionally good. You'd be putting a functional, a great design into people's pockets for a super low cost that would actually it would create a good foundation for what to expect from a properly designed folding knife, because there's so much crap out there in this inexpensive range. There's so many things out there that just give a horrible example and kind of lead people astray as to what a functional tool is. This is so close. They almost got it. It's likely because they just don't care. They're just throwing out designs that look appealing and whatever, and it's almost like they accidentally almost got close with this one. And again, that's just my opinion. I don't mean nothing against Ozark Trails. They're just trying to, they're a business. They're trying to make money like anybody else. And I'm sure there's a lot more that goes into it. I'm making it seem like it's so simple. Why didn't they do this? Well, it's also, it's not only is it my opinion, but I'm sure things are more complicated on a manufacturing end than just making what I consider to be small changes when it goes into making this knife. But I don't know. If you agree with me, comment. If you don't agree with me, comment. Absolutely. But I'm just asking people to kind of imagine that with me, how close this is basically a Benchmade Griptilian drop point blade. And even the handle design, it's nothing special here. This is a proven handle design, but it works. There's no reason to fix what isn't broken. So we're close here. I really wish they'd have done it. I don't know that we'll ever really get anything like that from Ozark Trails, but this is why I put this off, because I really don't like being negative. I really don't like picking knives apart. But I wanted to throw this out there, see what people thought, and also give you guys something to watch before the weekend. So in any case, that is pretty much it today, guys. Just wanted to talk about this a little bit. If you found the video entertaining, please leave a like. And if you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have knives that are more or less expensive that I do or don't like. So check those out. And if you enjoy all of my content, then subscribe to my channel, because there is definitely more coming. Thanks for watching, and have a great day, guys.